Hey everyone! So I got an order in today and I got this from Sylvia. I did finally get the Shadow Sailor Moon. I'm thinking what I want to do with this one. I want to create just drawers like I did for my son with his Mario. I want to do like maybe 3 drawers. I'm going to kind of get this laid out and see how big I can go. Okay, so I just kind of went through mimicked like a drawer, so I basically just kind of stacked some acrylics. So this bottom part is just holding it, so I have like the base, then the bottom part of the drawer, and then this is going to be the first drawer height, right? And then here's going to be the shelf, bottom of drawer, next drawer panel, and then the last one. The shelf, bottom of drawer, and then the panel. Because I had to make sure I go high enough for when the drawers are laying in. So I figured for my 2 side panels, I'm going to have to get 16 because I'm going to have to go 4 up and 4 across. And then that very back panel, I should only need 3 across up 4 rows. So I'm thinking I might actually end up with 3 left over. Okay, so I got like 2 panels done already. And then I'm like, I think I'm going to try the new Lock Light super glue with the brush that I got. And I'm very nervous because I don't like using super glue on acrylics, but I'm going to try it. I'm going to see how I do. I think what I need to do, I'm going to move these like right here because I'm going to need to glue it with my bookmark thing. So I'll have to figure out a good way for it to work. Okay, here we go. I was told it dries clear. Oh my god, the brush is a little weird, but hey. Okay. I wish the bristles were a little bit more soft. I mean, it does work okay, but it's like the bristles seem a little tough. So you can't be more precise. And that makes me a little bit nervous for the removal of the film. And it wasn't too bad. I got it on Amazon and I got like a 2-pack for like $6. Oh, there we go. So I was quite surprised because another super glue that I had gotten like a while ago, it was like almost $7. And same with my Gorilla Glue. It's like $7, almost $8. But I like to get the pen one so I can, you know, be a little bit more precise when I'm using it. So to get 2 of these, but I'm not a fan of the brush at all. I almost feel like a small skinny nozzle would work better than the brush. And it's just because the brush is kind of overlapping the film, well, the acrylic to get on the film, I should say, and that's what's making me very nervous. So I think I'm gonna do just 1 panel with it, and I'm gonna see how it holds, and I'm gonna take the film off and see how it worked. Gosh, I really hope. See, I feel like I have to go back in more because of the brush. I really hope I'm putting on enough. Oh my god. And then sometimes when you go back in, the brush is catching on the side. So it's making the bristles bend a little bit. So I'm not too sure about this. I mean, I think it's an awesome, you know, super glue for anything else but acrylics. But I don't know, I might change my mind once it's dried. But I feel like since the bristles are bending, I'm not getting enough product on the brush to put on the acrylics. So then I'm having to go back in a lot, and then I don't know. It's just different. It's just different. I can just see the glue like right by the film. All right, so we got this on here. I'm gonna give it a minute to dry, and then I will let you guys know how this one does. So when I was moving the panel, I did notice it did leave more residue on my mat. And normally with the E6000, I can just kind of wipe it off. But this one, hopefully I can get it to come off with a cleaning type solution. But that is a bummer. But I mean, it's super glue, so what did I expect? All right. So I'll keep gluing the other ones with my E6000, then I'll show you my progress when I get there. All right, so the panels they dried pretty good. I decided to switch my mat back to my Hello Kitty. Keroppi was just getting really dirty. Okay, so I actually ended up with 5 pieces left over. I'm not even sure what I said originally, how many I would have, but 5 pieces are left. So these are the 2 side panels for the side. I really hope. I don't think it's actually going to be tall enough. I think I estimated wrong, but we'll see. We'll see. If it ends up being too short, then I'm just going to make these shorter. And then I have these 2 I did in super glue. I think I did one more in super glue later on, but I just don't remember which one it is. So I want to see how the film comes off on these. So I have the very top piece, and then let's say the back panel. And then here's the shelf, base, and then the 3 bottom drawers. And then at first I think I said I was going to need 8 of these 4 panels, but I only needed 6 because each drawer gets 2. And then same with the 3 panels for the front and the back. I did 6 of those. Okay, so let's see how I'm going to just peel off like 1 from each because I don't want to go too crazy right now, just in case I have to fix the size. Where did I move my tweezers? I moved everything when I took my mat off. Just a second, let me find it. Okay, I found it. Okay. So I've been really curious to see how, I'm almost not wanting to take the whole film off. So if I would have hold on, I went to the side. Okay, let's go over here. I don't want to press too hard. I'm so nervous. I don't want to rip it. Oh, wow. That's on there. Holy cow. This is what I was scared of. But I still should be able to get it off. I really need a new pair of tweezers. Okay. So it'll definitely, okay, here we go. It's definitely going to come off, but I believe towards like the sides where it's adhering to other acrylics, more than likely it might be on there very good. Hold on, actually. Okay, it actually came off pretty well. Oh, that looks so pretty without the film on. Wow, okay. And I'm quite interested to see how this does with not having the extra glue that kind of seeps in the middle of the acrylics. So I'm excited to see that. So I'm going to kind of measure all of this and make sure I did the side panels high enough really quick and double check that before I build the drawers. Okay, so I started measuring a couple of drawers and everything was lining up good. I think I'm actually going to have a little bit of extra room at the top, so that's perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to do the drawers because I'm really curious about this panel with the super glue. Those are those two. I really want to see how well it comes off. Because if I don't have a lot of glue residue left in between the acrylics like I get with the E6000, I might start becoming more brave and using super glue. So let's see what this looks like. Okay, I think it's going to take me a minute. Let me get this peeled off and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's all off. Okay, so the super glue is actually not that bad. So I took the film off one of the ones I used E6000 on. So here's the super glue. I don't really have too much glue residue. Now I did notice, so like right here in the corner, I'm not sure if you can see it, hold on. Yeah, here we go. So right here and right here is some of the glue residue, even a little bit right here. And then of course it won't come off because it's super glue. But that's it. I mean, it's not white or anything like how most super glue dries. So I mean, at the same time, it's not that bad. So there's no other, you know, in between the cracks anywhere else. I mean, there's a little bit like right here, but that's it. Now the one with the E6000, it's also, of course, not that bad. So I'll come in here and kind of scrape that off and this off over here, just a little bit in between, but that's about it. So it's not too bad. So I might actually try to use super glue more often. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to go ahead and finish doing the rest of these so I can start getting the drawers built and getting them put together. Alright, so I got my clear strips on the side of the shelves and the bottom piece. That took forever. It was really hard to get some of them on because they're a little curved due to how they were, you know, the big strip was bent during shipping. I usually use a candle to try to help bend it, you know, by running it over the flame. But I didn't want to do all of that. So I basically got them on there, and then on a couple of them I put tape, like Scotch tape, over the top to kind of hold it in place while it dries. So hopefully once I take it off, it stays. So now I'm getting the drawers ready. This one's hard to get off right here.
And he would see the other students that lived at the school, and Just something about them, the way that they would walk
But
around
all in all,
with
this is
little
actually
candles in the
coming
mornings
together
when you
pretty
came to pull up
quickly.
the commuters. It's as if they were empty shells of ghosts. It's like he was pulling up to a zombie school.
It's really hard for me to,
They weren't running around, full of
especially when they're smaller, not to finish it, you know, the same day.
There were probably moments he even joked with his family.
But I mean, this isn't just a regular box either, so.
I'm the only one that sees them. That's how the kids are acting.
I know I'll probably get it finished tomorrow.
Maybe it's not even boarding school. Maybe all the students that I bring, that's it.
This is kind of sticky.
The only reason he kept the job was the kids really liked him. They really loved him. He was like a grandpa. They were so comfortable around him. He wanted to see their journey through.
Okay, so I'm going to get these built, and then once I get them all together, I'm going to show you what it all looks like with all of the film off, because it's going to be so pretty. Like, it's already gorgeous as it is. I bet you this would look really good behind a light.
What happened to your wrist?
You know what? I'm actually, hold on, let me take these off because I'm going to get my flashlight on my other phone. And I'm going to put it behind it and see what it does.
But to leave actual bruises, that's going a bit too far usually. He tried his best to be happy for the kids because it didn't seem like the teachers were that happy. It didn't seem like the boarding school.
I could get my light base out, but I think it's buried.
Also, like, it's not like, it's like usually they ask you to put your hands up and they will spank you with a ruler. So it's not like punching you, leaving bruises. Not that kind of physical.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually like space.
I think this was a
or the back
super glue one.
It's not like they're just throwing
okay.
around, jumping you with a gang of teachers.
Yeah.
I mean, but there have been instances of that, and I think that's why it's been outlawed in South Korea. But yeah, it was supposed to be disciplinary action. So this is why he's very confused. The bus driver is like, that's not normal to have any bruises left on a student because he forgot his homework.
Look at
that's
that.
Abuse. That's not even disciplinary action, right? So
oh
he
my
made sure
God.
that he's the happiest part of the kids' days.
That would be so pretty as a light.
Okay, well, how was your day? What'd you guys
wow.
do? He remembered as he was driving, he was having a conversation with one of the female students in the front row.
Oh, man.
Her day at school. Her tone was very relaxed, casual.
Gorgeous. Now I'm kind of regretting not making a light out of it. Dang.
And then, I think I had geography.
How beautiful.
His hands with the steering wheel.
Okay, so if you guys can get your hands on the Shadow Sailor Moon and you have some light bases, I would highly recommend making a light out of them because that is gorgeous. But this will take me a little bit to get the panels on. I mean, it shouldn't take me too long. I just got to get the first layer of film off of all of them and then the side panels. So I'll show you guys what they look like in a little bit.
Genuinely want to help these students that don't have the proper connections, or maybe they don't even have the proper education, and that's why they can't. And because the school was still operating, the principal gathered up all the students that egged him and forced them to write apology letters. The guy wants apology letters for getting egged. But yeah, I mean, they were the driest apology letters that I have ever read in the history of my life, which, like, good for them, right? But they would write things like, I'm sorry to the principal for making him uncomfortable. Dear principal, we're sorry that we threw red paint at you. We're sorry that we egged you. From now on, we'll do the right things. The principal was pissed. He started to physically abuse them again. He would line up the students and slap them around and scream, because your parents are out there protesting and doing that weird shit, now you're getting hit in here. Just know that this is because of your parents.
They're students, huh?
Yes. They have nowhere else to go. Finally, the protest gathered enough public interest and got enough civilians riled up that the police were pressured into launching an investigation. After a few months, Korean law enforcement arrested 6 Inwa school administrators and teachers. They were going to court. 9 victims were going to testify. The National Human Rights Center sent representatives to help prepare the victims and go through their trauma. Now, trial number 1, there were a lot of rough details that came out during all of this. Just really rough allegations of abuse. You know, I'm talking watching adult films, forcing them to kiss and just really nasty stuff. I mean, most of which we've already covered. All of it is like coming out into the open during the trial in its full gruesome details. Another student, let's call her Suming, she was one of the girls that would get invited over to the teachers' homes. This is very sick and twisted. So think about how vile the psychology behind these monsters are. The vice principal would want to abuse his student. He does it in the school, but it's not enough. He wants to now bring that student into his home that he shares with his wife and kids. He forces that student to eat dinner with his whole family while he tells his wife about how good of a student Sumin is. After dinner, the teacher, the vice principal, suggests that his wife and kids go run some quick errands while he and Sumin go over some practice tests. He then assaults the student in his own home. I feel like there's some sick psychology behind that. Like the risk it would take to even bring the students home and the whole dinner, like it's so sick and twisted to me. Like, what are you getting out of it? It's like something is wrong with you, because he's getting something out of it. And it didn't just happen once; it happened multiple times to Sumin alone. And I can't imagine that she was the only one that this vice principal did this to. If the girl refused to go to his house, he would beat her and R-word her in the school for retaliation. So there was no winning. Speaking of retaliation, those who ever looked like they would think about talking about the abuse, they were beaten to a pulp. The physical abuse in this school alone would have warranted a trial. There is some photo evidence of it. I'm not going to show it because these, again, are a lot of it would happen on the bottoms, like the butt, right? And they're minor, so I'm not going to show that. But there's it's just, there's no part that looks like skin anymore. It's just blue, deep purple, like yellow, but not in like the yellow undertone, like the bruising yellow. It looks like it was done with some sort of long cane. So many of the parents of the victims actually knew about all of this, but they themselves struggled with mental or physical disabilities, and they knew that the police would never believe them because they weren't able-bodied. So they felt like their best way to protect their child was to help them feel better and would teach them how not to cause trouble. And what's so sad is, and I think like these parents are always teaching these kids how not to be a burden to able-bodied people. And that kind of mindset is so heartbreaking because like that's not how we should think at all. One victim's grandmother cried out, "How can intellectual people do this? How do they even dare do something like this? The perpetrators were intellectual people. My granddaughter is deaf and she cannot speak a word. How can he do that to her? Do they feel no pity towards her? If there were no laws, I would find the perpetrator and tear them apart with my own two hands. She is a kid who cannot even speak." Do you remember Smoyon at the beginning of this story? She was assaulted and then given $2. She would tell the principal what happened and he ignored her, right? She ended up graduating and tried to move on with her life. She got married, had a child. And she said every day all she thought about was the abuse. Even with her husband, she said it wasn't until the trial that she told him what actually happened. She was so worried that he would feel ashamed of her. She thought that he'd be upset with her. And she was so scared. And thankfully he was a normal.
Okay, so far I've gotten one drawer done. I decided to come on and do this drawer so you guys can see how absolutely gorgeous this is as it's coming together. I absolutely love it. I'm really hoping my clear acrylic strips are doing good on the sides of the shelves, because they weren't the full length, you know, of the panel, because I wanted to leave some wiggle room for the back panel. So I really hope it works okay. But I figured if for any reason I needed to add more, I'll just cut like smaller pieces off and glue them on. I mean, it's not too much, but who knows? I run into so many problems sometimes. Alright, here we go. Sorry, I'm gonna get my head in the way for a minute. Okay. bit. Anytime I do drawers, I always try to get the side panels in a little bit more. I mean, I know I have those clear acrylic strips to work with, but I just don't want to run into any problems with this one. I really, really want this one to go smoothly. I haven't created another box like I did for my son that has just the 3 drawers. Because, I mean, his work's okay. Some of them are a little crooked, like you have to kind of jiggle it to open and shut the drawer. And I added a lot of Mario charms to it, you know, to kind of give it some more of a aesthetic, but I really, really want this one to turn out good. Okay, let me bend down.
He formed a special team to investigate the school, and he was really sneaky with it. I don't even think that the school knew that they were being watched again. They just knew, like, the movie came out and they were like, oh, bad press.
These are just the kind of acrylics that are made better, so it kind of glides more. This would have been a good batch to make a pop-up box with. And I even said that to my husband after I had made all of the panels already. I'm like, gosh dang it. I'm like, this one would have been an awesome pop-up box. But I'm really excited to make the drawers.
So they started focusing on different victims. And the victims now were being represented by a huge human rights attorney, Lee Mong-soo. If you saw this man walking down the street in Korea, you would think he's just a random ajashi, like middle-aged man.
And I think I'll get pretty far tonight. I just have to do one more drawer. And then I pretty much am going to glue the shelves against the side panel and the back wall. It's only like 11:20, 11:30 here now, somewhere around there. I don't want to stay up too late tonight because I'm actually really tired. I went to bed pretty late last night, like I always do. No. I hate it when that happens. But I didn't get too much sleep. I wanted to take a nap, but I didn't. Okay. Good lord. I try so hard not to move them around after I flip it, but sometimes they'll just move on its own or... Okay. Well, once I get the other panels on, it'll help secure them. Okay, so this one...
He was going to sue the perpetrators for inflicting injury. What injury? Mental trauma. This would be the first time in South Korea that someone would sue for mental,
I like this one for the front. Well, this is the back, so back. Okay.
Because usually during the court trials, people would talk about the physical injuries.
I'm going to put more glue on this side.
Even acknowledge the mental trauma that would linger for the rest of their lives. So now he was solely going to use that. Because there is no statute.
Probably going to have a little bit of glue I'm going to have to scrape off in the middle of the drawer.
This was an injury. And the statute of limitations
It's all good.
Start the day they get diagnosed with the injury.
I had more stuff happen with my big skull panda drawers than this, so hey, I'm doing good.
And he wanted to bring in the best of the best because these kids were living in
Oh yeah, just a little bit right there, not bad.
His friend was a psychiatry professor at Yonsei University. This is like Korea's Johns Hopkins, if you will. And Yonsei is a public institution, and the hospital that they had near this school,
There we go.
hospitals all over the country, they were underfunded and understaffed, even though they're one of the biggest.
I just got to be really good with this one
but this professor had to
because I want to post it for sale.
And they had to move so many schedules around. Everyone worked overtime to get these students in. And as they were waiting, because these students cannot be diagnosed unless they are inpatient. As they're waiting for everything to work out, the doctors and nurses on that floor that would be in contact with these students, they obviously
I'll probably like check it like 5 different times before I take pictures.
Okay, do you need anything? In sign language. They were able to get volunteer drivers. People in the community stepped up. There's a lot of students. They would need to be driven from hospital to hospital, from lawyer appointment to court dates. People volunteer to drive them around and just get them to these places. People volunteer to drive the parents around to be able to make sure that they're there. And the kids were all sadly diagnosed with some sort of PTSD from the abuse. The only silver lining of that diagnosis would be that now Lawyer Lee could progressively go after the abusers. If they won, this would change the country that they live in. He even told the judge in the courtroom, please take a close look at the victim's eyes, their voice, their facial expressions, and body reactions. Even if you don't speak sign language, even if you can't understand the words that the victims are saying, you don't need to understand the words to know what kind of pain that they've been through. He would tell the attorneys on his team and the interpreter,
Look at that. Look how pretty it is. Doesn't this make like the perfect drawer? Like, that's why I wanted to show it. Okay, I'm gonna get this one all fixed up and cleaned and then do the other one, and then I will show you what they all look like when I start building the little shelves in. Alright, so I didn't record too much after I got some of the, like one of the drawers together, just because I was putting, you know, like the shelves and everything on the base, but got the knobs on. I just glued the last side wall to the base part, and it actually came together really well. I really love this as a drawer piece. And I think what I'm going to do in some of the areas where I did cut some of the acrylic strips like just a little bit too short, you know, I'm going to put something over it, probably butterflies, or I might mix it with flowers, you know, just so it kind of is all good. I don't want it to be too off. But having these acrylic strips is just amazing. So watch how awesome they go in. Let me bring it up over here. The knobs are still kind of drying, but like, you know, I can still make it work. Okay.
Casting director Yang Tae-gun
Bottom
allegedly locked Sora in an unknown motel room.
goes right in. I love it.
He dragged her into the bath, sprayed water all over her mouth and private parts with the shower.
And then here's the middle.
Later down, assaulted her. He said to her, "If you don't listen, I'm gonna throw you in my trunk."
And then the top, I got a little bit more room, of course, just because it's the top. Usually happens that way. But I think it absolutely turned out so cute. And I'm very glad that I have those clear acrylic strips, so that way they can move in and out pretty good. So I'm going to work on getting some stuff added on here to give it a little bit more pizzazz. And then I am going to probably take the film off. I don't know, I'm kind of going back and forth because I really like to leave it, but I really want to take good pictures when I post it. And I need the film off, so I might remove it. We'll see. I probably will, and then I think what I'll do is I'll just like wrap it with the bubble wrap and then store it. But I'm gonna definitely show you guys what it looks like after I get some stuff added to it to cover up like some of the short areas on here. Alright guys, so I got my little Sailor Moon done. And it looks so cute. So what I decided to do is I used my little butterfly charms, to put kind of on the end where my clear acrylic strip was, and it didn't run like all the way to the end. I put some in the back and then on the bottom part, and then I decided to put these cute little dangly butterfly charms on the back. I think they look super cute, and I did get the film off the top of all the panels because it's just so pretty without the film, like, oh my god. So I wanted my pictures to, you know, come out really good when I get it done. So yay, there we go. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. So again, if you need to ever spruce up any type of box that you do, just add some charms and it'll make it look cute. All right, guys, bye.